The National Weather Service Eastern Region Coastal Flood webpage has been developed to provide authoritative coastal flood forecasts for the public and government agencies from Maine to South Carolina. This training video will provide a quick tutorial on the National Weather Service Eastern Region Coastal Flood webpage, which can be accessed at the listed URL or by visiting any coastal forecast office's webpage and accessing the page under the Forecast tab at the top. You can also navigate to the page by selecting the coastal flood tile shown on the slide at the bottom of most coastal local weather forecast office webpages. The page will first open to the coastal flood threat display map and will be centered on a specific selected view. The first step to take is to navigate to your specific area of interest. To do this, look at the top of the page and select the drop-down menu under the selected view. Simply select the area of interest, whether it is a local weather forecast office, a state level, or even a FEMA region. Once an area is selected, you will zoom into that specific office. Note, you can just zoom in on the map to the area of interest, but individual forecast offices may have additional local information that can only be accessed by selecting their specific view. Once you have navigated to your local area of interest, you will have the option to create a permalink for this save setting for easy retrieval in the future. This can be accomplished by selecting the permalink and bookmark the associated URL. One last point about the main page is that there's a tropical cyclone in the Atlantic Basin. There will be a highlighted news headline at the top of the page that links to the National Hurricane Center. Now we will begin to talk about the interface tabs at the top of this site. The primary interface tab is the Coastal Hazard Map. The National Weather Service Coastal Flood Program forecasts coastal water levels out to 60 hours. This site allows you to quickly navigate to different tide cycles via the High Tide Cycle bar. The High Tide Cycle bar will highlight high tide cycles with forecasted flooding via highlighted colors. The bar will be orange for minor flooding, red for moderate coastal flooding, and purple for major coastal flooding. As you toggle through the high tide cycle times, the map interface coastal flood points will also change color if flooding is forecasted. The individual coastal sites icons will also change color to either orange, red, or purple if flooding is forecasted. If you hover over a forecast point, the hydrograph and/or coastal flood table will pop up. To keep them displayed, click on the forecast point. If the site has a hydrograph, you can select the hydrograph and it will take you to the specific AHAPS flood forecast page. To close the hydrograph and/or coastal flood table, hit the X button in the top right corner. The Coastal Hazard Map has additional overlays that can be toggled on and off. These overlays consist of coastal hazards, which include coastal flood headlines, marine headlines, and tropical headlines. You can toggle on and off all the coastal hazard headlines or individual headlines when there are multiple ones present. You can also toggle on observed wave heights from federal, state, and academia buoy resources. Forecast overlays include forecasted wave heights, wind speeds, and wind gusts over the next 60 hours. To move forward and back in time, you can move to the high tide cycle of concern via the bar at the top of the page, and then use the time bar on the right side to move forward and back in 3-hour time increments. Note, it does take some time for these overlays to load at times. Another application of this page is the ability to view marine and coastal forecast at a high precision 2.5 kilometer resolution. To do this, simply click anywhere on the map out to approximately 60 nautical miles from the coastline, and a new forecast display will open. This will display the point weather forecast for this exact location. If there are any valid headlines, they will be listed with the ability to select a link directly to that text product. To go back to the coastal hazard map, simply select the Coastal Hazard Map tab again to toggle back to the main interface. You can select a new location for a different point forecast, and the Forecast Display tab will update with the latest forecast point. Repeat this process for as many locations as you need. Note, to have the option to view coastal flood headline text products, you will need to select a land-based spot on the map. There are three different types of sites listed on the coastal flood page. There are coastal sites that have both water level forecast and observation tide gauge, which are annotated by a square. When you select these forecast and observation sites, you will see they have both observation data and tidal forecast data via the forecast table and a purple forecast trace on the hydrograph. The coastal sites annotated as diamonds are tidal observation sites only and will be colored as gray as they are not forecast points. When you select these sites, you will see they have tidal observation data only and no forecast table. The coastal sites annotated as circles are sites that do not have tidal observation data and are forecast points only. When you select these sites, you will only see a forecast table for the next 60 hours with no hydrograph. One last thing you'll notice is some forecast points will be highlighted the color gray from time to time. Gray means that there is no water level forecast for this high tide cycle. The forecast information in flood categories is read from the National Weather Service forecast table. So in this example, we're looking at the forecast table. You will notice there is no high tide forecast information in the table on the morning of the 28th. This happens due to the timing on the high tide cycle on certain days as there isn't an actual high tide. This is the reason why certain high tide cycle flood stages are displayed as missing. This Water Level Quickbook tab provides you a quick look at the water level observations and forecasts where available for all the tidal gauges in your selected view. To change your view, go to the selected view and just choose your location of choice. These snapshots are pulled from AHAPS, and if you click on an individual location snapshot, it will take you to the parent AHAPS page, where you can get detailed information on the tidal, site location, observations and forecasts, flood thresholds, impact information, and more. This is intended to be a useful situational awareness tool for you to monitor tidal observations and forecasts at a glance in your specific area of concern. The Inundation and Impact Resources tab is your one-stop shopping solution for governmental inundation and impact visualization tools, coastal flood model guidance, tides, and current data. Under the Federal Inundation and Impact Resources section, you will find powerful visualization tools such as sea level rise and inundation maps, societal, environmental, and infrastructure hazard layers, and FEMA National Flood Hazard Layers to help ready your communities for coastal flood hazards and understand the impacts of the National Weather Service Total Water Level Forecast for your area of concern. Under the Federal Coastal Flood Model Guidance section, you will be able to access the output from the various federal storm surge models, coastal change models, and nearshore wave models. Other coastal flood model guidance, such as from Academic centers or collaborative centers are not included here, but can be found on the Local Resource tab of individual weather forecast office pages. Finally, under the Other Coastal Resources section, you'll be able to access information from NOAA and the USGS on astronomical tides, tidal currents, sea level trends, coastal change, and more. Unlike the other tabs on this website, the Local Resource tab is unique to each National Weather Service forecast office. It provides important supplemental local coastal hazard and impact information to help you make your communities ready, responsive, and resilient. Please let your warning coordination meteorologist or coastal service team leaders know if there's information you would like to see on this page to help you in your mission. We hope that you will find this new website beneficial to your readiness and response operations. We would like to continue to fine-tune it to meet your needs, so please check the fact link for the contact in your local area, and please share in what ways we can enhance this website to help you in your mission.